21.
Go.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this drum brake. So last class did a very good, a pretty good job. But if you look right here, right at the very top, you see that this spring's ready to pop off, and it's because they didn't get the shoes deep enough onto the anchor pin here. So these two shoes, the blue shoes, need to be deeper, and that would allow more room for the springs. This spring is ready to pop off. I could, if I wanted to, I could just use a screwdriver and I could just pop this off, but I want to use the right tool. Okay, so this is an eccentric, okay, and you just put it on the pin and you just twist it. There you go, so it's ready to pop off. Okay, and now I'm going to take this spring and I'll lay it down in the order I took it off. This is the hold down spring. This is slot so you can see what you're doing, and you're going to hold this little pin on the back side of the backing plate, push and turn it a quarter turn. So the way it looks is, here's the pin, okay, it was like this. Then I'm going to push, turn, and then this will come out like that. Okay, and I'm going to put this down right where I took it out. Okay, now I have the self adjuster, a return spring attached right here. They attached this wrong. This is wrong. The way I do this is I just grab the shoe, I just spread it, pull this out, and then I just unhook this all. Okay. And what they did wrong was this spring right here needs to be inside like that. Not, so they just hooked it, and it needs to be more inside. So a good strategy is to put these the way they are on the car. So this hooks up to right here. Okay. All right, so now I got this cable. I can take this cable that loops up to right here on the self adjuster, put this up. Okay, before I do the hold down, I'm going to do the return spring. So take my special tool and put it right here, and you just spin it, pull that off. It does have a cable guide that goes with this spring. Okay, put that right there. Now I just got my hold down spring, quarter turn, put that right there. Here's my little cable that goes around this cable guide. This goes inside here, this, okay, and then this shoe will come right off. This is our park and brake cable and lever, so this could stay with the car. Okay, and then we're done. This washer, what happened was it dropped down on them. This needs to be up on this ridge here, and the shoes go behind that. Okay.
No.
Okay, so this is your backing plate. This is your wheel cylinder. Wheel cylinders, you should take off the boot and look for fluid underneath it. There should be no fluid inside. It should be dry like that on both sides. There's two pistons. Okay, so our wheel cylinder's in good condition. I put white lithium on 6 places around the backing plate. Okay, all right, we're ready. I'm going to take this little washer. I'm going to put this up here. This goes right here. It needs to stay on there. There's 2 shoes. There's a short shoe and a long shoe. So the short shoe goes to the front. This is called the primary. The long shoe goes to the back, which is the secondary. So I'm going to just take the secondary shoe. I always start with the shoe that has the parking brake lever. And I'm going to put this right behind this washer right here. Okay. Now I got that. Now I'm going to put my hold down spring on. So I'm going to put this through. I like putting the spade of this at 12 and 6, because when I put the spring on, I'm going to line the slot up at 12 and 6, and then it should just be a simple matter of pushing it straight on. So let's see. I did drop it. Oh. There we go. Push and turn. Okay. Nice little X like that. Okay, so you can see how that goes in. And this is where the group made a mistake. They allowed this to drop down. This needs to be up with the washer separating that. Like this. Okay, so now I grab my cable. I'm going to put my cable. I'm just going to put it out of the way right now. And grab my return spring with my cable guide right here. This cable guide needs to be flush inside here, inside the hole. And then you loop on the spring right here. Okay, I need a little more room this time. Put the spring in. Let's see, there we go. And we want to get this flush and get it in position. Grab my tool right here. Now instead of using the eccentric side, we're going to use the other side, which is like a little claw. And I'm just going to put that right here. Hold this washer in place and just loop it on. Okay. Now we're good. Now I can bring this cable and I can put this back behind here. Perfect. Okay. All right. So I got the cable guide on, ready to go on the cable guide. So now let's get this in position. So I'm going to go ahead and hook this up to right here. I'm going to hook this up to right here. So this is ready to go. Loop this around the cable guide. And then this little guy right here, oh yeah, it came off. Get this inside here, that would help a lot. Put this up on the cable guide right here. There you go. Slide this down, and then this little hook goes right in this little slot right here. And now I got something to pull on. Zoom out a little bit. So you see I could pull on this now? Because I could pull on this, I could take my star adjuster. So I'm going to grab my star adjuster now. And I just slip this on the back. I'll put that right there, and now that works. The one thing that fell and I didn't talk about is the park and brake lever. So this has to be inside here. And it goes all the way across and latches on to the park and brake lever and shoe. And now I could slide this on right here. And I gotta get this little washer down. There we go. Okay. Hold down spring. Put at 12. Put this at 12. Get my little hold down spring tool. I'm going to push and turn a quarter turn. Perfect. Get this spring. I'm going to loop it in here. Get my little special tool, and we're just going to slip it on. And you notice the difference of how it was before and how it is now. They're all now behind this pin. The last thing I always like is I want to make sure this floats. So I always make sure it floats. And we're good. Okay, so just to kind of get an idea, this is a real simple brake, drum brakes. It has an anchor pin down at the bottom, so it doesn't move at the bottom. It only moves at the top where the wheel cylinder is. So there's a return spring here, a return spring here, 2 hold down springs, and then there's a spring over here for the self adjuster. And then this is kind of like a retaining clip. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to work always back towards the shoe that has the parking brake on. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do this spring right here, and it's just grab a pair of needle nose and pull it down. And then I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to put that right in the order I got it. Okay. Now the return spring here is always a little trick. You won't find this in any videos other than mine. Grab it with this hand. You got to zoom out, Miss Tone, so you can see the. Okay, so I'm going to pinch this wire here. Right there, I'm going to pinch it, and then I'm going to put my other hand here on the shoe, and I'm going to pull with these fingers. I'm not going to pull with the pliers. I pull these little fingers right here, and then we can just pull it. So it's this action to take that spring off of this. And then we could take that off, lay that spring in the order. This little retaining clip, you need to make sure you understand because you can flip it backwards, so make sure that this little L-shaped bend here is at the top. So I'm going to put that here. Matter of fact, it would be even not a bad idea to kind of loop it the way it goes. So you know that this is going to hook up to here. Okay, I'm just going to leave it like that, and then this is going to be here. Okay, Now I could go ahead and take off this holding spring. So I'm going to push and turn a quarter turn, and that pulls off. Okay. And now we can take this shoe off right here. Here's my self-adjuster. Okay, now the bottom return spring is nice. All we got to do is just unloop it, and we got it right here. Okay, and here's this return spring, which is going to go right here. And now all we have left is one hold down spring. There we go. There we go. And then we have this. Okay, now this one has a pin for the park and brake lever. This is your park and brake lever. So this is one where I do want you to practice this little trick on how to take this off. So you grab a pair of channel locks, you grab the bracket like this, you take a pair of wire cutters, you put it in here, and you just pry. Once when you pry it away, see how I got it pried away? You grip it with the wire cutters, and you can just loop this off. And then you can slip that back. Lithium needs to go on these little raised places, but nowhere else. Look at this. You don't need this here. You don't need this here at all. You only need it right on the raised pads. Right here. Look at this side. Way too much grease. This grease is going to get all over. I need to get a rag really, but it only needs to be on these little raised pads right there, right here, right here. Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and put this together. The first thing I got to do is attach my park and brake lever to this cable with the spring. So I'm going to grab this channel lock. I'm going to actually hold on to the tip of the cable. Then I'm going to grab my wire cutters and I'm going to insert it into the spring, and then I'm just going to pry it back like that and grip it, and then I can take my shoe. You got to make sure you know which way, so it's going to go that way. So you got to make sure you're in the right, and then just let go of it, and it should go right up, and it does. Okay, let's do a hold down spring. I'm going to put my pin in, put it right here on this one, and then I'm going to put my hold down spring on top of that pin at 12 o'clock, so I don't want to have to really fish for it too much. There we go. Almost. Yep. Got it. Yep. So this is in place. Now, if you recall, this return spring right here just loops and loops like that, and then we just pull this across, and then the self-adjuster is going to go underneath the wheel cylinder here and lock into our brake shoe and our parking brake lever. Okay, over here we're going to line up our pin right here for the hold down spring. I'm going to put that. Hopefully I won't be fishing for this one as long. Take my spring, hold it in place, and it should be a push and turn. Perfect. Now I gotta take this little pin right here, and remember I talked about the position of this. It needs to be in the right position. I grab my return spring here. I'll loop it in here. Now you need to make sure it goes all the way in like that, and then you need to be able to spin it around. Okay, let's see. All the way in, and then spin it around, goes right in here. Okay, this is that trick I told you about. You grip it with a pair of pliers like that, and you pull with this finger, and you need to zoom in right there, Miss Tone. See if I get this for the class. There we go. And you see how that hooks onto there. Okay, last spring is the self-adjusting spring for this self-adjuster right here. So I'm going to pop this up and over a little bit. And this goes right here. And you just need a pair of needle nose pliers. Grab it, and then that just goes right there. And we're good. We're set.